It's 3:14 a.m. again. Not because of a nightmare, not because of a noisy neighbor. You're just awake, lying there in the quiet, staring into the dark, wondering, why is this happening again? You've done everything right. No late coffee, no scary movies. You even went to bed early, and still your eyes are open. Your body is tired, but your mind is alert, humming, searching, restless. And then it creeps in, that quiet, heavy thought. Maybe this is just how it is after 60. But what if it's not? What if the reason you're awake isn't age, but something you were never taught? What if sleep after 60 isn't worse? It's just different. See, most people think of sleep as something we lose as we get older. But the truth is, your body still knows how to sleep. It just needs a different kind of support. Your hormones change, your brain waves shift, even your internal temperature rhythm evolves. Yet most advice out there, bedtime routines, supplements, sleep tips, is still made for younger bodies. And here's the cost. Nights filled with tossing and turning, mornings foggy with fatigue, and a quiet fear that your best nights are behind you. But they're not, because the secret isn't getting more sleep. It's getting the right kind of sleep, the kind that heals your brain, restores your memory, rebuilds your strength, and leaves you feeling fully alive in the morning. In this video, we'll uncover 8 quiet mistakes that sabotage sleep after 60 and simple science-backed ways to fix them, starting tonight. Some of these may surprise you. One might already be hiding in your routine. And mistake number 4, it feels like rest, but it could actually be speeding up your aging. So if you've ever felt betrayed by your own sleep, if you've ever whispered, maybe this is just how it is now, stay with me, because what's coming next might just change the way you sleep and live from this night forward. Let's start with the most common and most damaging sleep mistake after 60. It's not your bedtime. It's not caffeine. It's the quiet belief that poor sleep is just what happens when you get older. Have you ever said this to yourself? I guess I'm just getting old. Maybe this is just part of aging. Everyone my age struggles with sleep, right? That belief feels harmless, but over time, it becomes a wall between you and the better sleep you still deserve. Because here's what the science actually says. According to Medline Plus, a service of the U.S. National Library of Medicine, it's normal for sleep to change with age, but not disappear. Deep sleep stages, what we call slow-wave sleep, do decrease. Nighttime awakenings become more common, but your body still wants and needs quality rest. Sleep isn't lost with age, it just shifts. The problem is, we often treat sleep like a light switch, on or off, sleeping or not sleeping. But sleep, especially after 60, is more like a rhythm, a tide. And your job is to learn how to catch that rhythm again, not fight it. Let me give you an example. Instead of saying, I'm old, so I can't sleep, what if you said, my body has changed, so my sleep needs to change with it? That shift, in mindset alone, can be the difference between frustration and progress. And here's why it matters. When you believe poor sleep is inevitable, you stop trying. You stop looking for solutions. You stop listening to your body. But when you see sleep as adaptable, you take back power. You begin to explore gentle changes. You realize it's not your fault. You're not broken. You're simply out of rhythm. So before we dive into specific habits, I want you to ask yourself one thing. Have I been blaming age for something my body is simply asking me to understand? Because once you let go of that old belief, you make space for something better. Hope, action, and healing sleep that's still possible. You've heard it all your life. Early to bed, early to rise. So you try it. You eat dinner early, dim the lights, and get into bed by 8 p.m. But instead of restful sleep, You wake up at 1 a.m., then 3 a.m., then again at dawn, groggy, frustrated, and wondering why your healthy routine feels so exhausting. Sound familiar? That's because one of the most common mistakes after 60 is this: sleeping too early and missing your actual sleep window. Let's unpack that. After age 60, your internal clock, what scientists call the circadian rhythm, naturally shifts a little earlier. That's completely normal. But many older adults overcorrect. They assume earlier must be better, so they push bedtime forward, thinking it's the responsible thing to do. But here's the twist. If you go to bed before your brain and body are truly ready, you fall asleep during the lightest stages, and you never fully descend into deep, restorative sleep. That's what happened to Frank, a 67-year-old former accountant. He was in bed by 8 p.m. every night. It felt good at first, but over time his sleep became shallow. He'd wake up several times and never feel rested. He thought something was wrong with his brain, but it wasn't his brain, it was his timing. So Frank tried something new. He moved his bedtime to 9:45 p.m. He dimmed the lights after dinner, took a short walk, and read a calming book instead of watching the news. Within 1 week, everything changed. He fell into deeper sleep. He woke up fewer times. His memory sharpened. His morning energy returned. Why? Because instead of forcing sleep, he caught the wave. Think of sleep like the ocean. There are moments when the wave lifts you effortlessly, and moments when you miss it and get pulled under. When you sleep too early, you miss the lift. You float, but never dive deep. So tonight, ask yourself, am I sleeping early or sleeping at the right time for me? Because finding your personal sleep window could be the key to waking up truly restored. Let me ask you something simple. When was the last time you used your bed only for sleep? Not for watching TV, not for eating a snack, not for scrolling your phone or doing a crossword, just sleep. Because here's the quiet mistake that creeps into millions of bedrooms after 60, turning your bed into a multi-use space and confusing your brain in the process. You see, your brain is a pattern recognition machine. It builds associations. And the more you use your bed for activities that aren't sleep, the less it sees the bed as a place for sleep. It's subtle at first, but over time, it adds up. That's exactly what happened to Mary, 72. Sharp, independent, and proud of her nightly crossword habit, done, of course, in bed. It keeps my mind young, she said. But something changed. Mary started waking up at 2 a.m., not anxious, just alert. And each time she'd reach for her pen. Soon sleep became fragmented. Mornings were sluggish. She needed 2 cups of coffee just to feel halfway awake. Her doctor ran tests. Everything came back normal, but Mary still felt off. Until one friend asked her the question that changed everything. What does your brain think your bed is for? That question flipped a switch. She moved the puzzles to the kitchen table, kept her bed sacred, a space for rest only. And within 5 days, she slept through the night. No pills, no gadgets, just a clearer message to her brain. Because your environment teaches your brain how to behave. If your bed is where you snack, scroll, read headlines and stress, your brain won't know it's time to rest. But if your bedroom whispers only one thing, sleep, your brain will respond. So ask yourself tonight, does my bedroom say rest or does it scream distraction? Because sometimes the most powerful sleep fix isn't in your body, it's in your space. You open your eyes, it's 1:17 a.m. The house is quiet. Your partner is breathing gently beside you, but you're wide awake. And before you even look at the clock, the thought hits, why can't I just sleep through the night like I used to? Here's the truth no one tells you, especially after 60. Waking up in the middle of the night doesn't mean you're broken. In fact, it used to be completely normal. Before electricity, before screens, and long before 24-hour news cycles, Humans often slept in two parts, a first sleep and a second sleep. In between was a gentle hour to stretch, pray, write, reflect, or simply breathe. It wasn't insomnia, it was rhythm. But today we've lost that understanding, and we've replaced it with fear. That's what happened to Joe, 75. He kept waking at 2 a.m. every single night. At first, he tried to fight it. He'd lie there, heart racing, frustration rising. I thought something was wrong with my brain, he said. But then while reading an old book of diary entries from the 1800s, he saw something surprising. People back then expected to wake up, and they didn't panic. They used the time for quiet thought. So Joe tried something new. Instead of fighting the wake-up, he embraced it. He lit a soft lamp, sipped warm chamomile, wrote simple thoughts in a journal. No pressure, no screens, no judgment. And something shifted. Those middle-of-the-night hours stopped feeling like failure and started feeling peaceful. And here's the twist. Once he stopped resisting, he actually slept better. Longer, deeper, more naturally. Because when your mind feels safe, your body can let go. So the next time you wake up in the dark, ask yourself, am I broken or just remembering an older rhythm that still lives in my body? Because sometimes the path back to sleep isn't about forcing your eyes shut. It's about letting go of the fear that being awake means something's wrong. It's just a cup of tea, maybe a square of dark chocolate, or a gentle pick-me-up around 2 p.m. What harm could it do? Plenty, especially after 60. Because here's what most people don't realize. Your body processes caffeine very differently than it did at 40. At 30, caffeine clears from your system in 4 to 6 hours. But after 60, your liver slows down. That same cup of tea at 2 p.m. can still be in your bloodstream at 2 a.m. That's not just theory, it's science. One 2023 study published in Nutrients found that in older adults, even moderate caffeine intake in the afternoon was linked to lower sleep efficiency and increased sleep disruptions. That's what happened to Evelyn, 68, healthy, active, sharp, and a lifelong fan of English breakfast tea. She drank it every afternoon. It was her ritual, her comfort. But slowly, her nights changed. She felt tired at bedtime, but her mind was alert. There was no stress, no noise, just a quiet tension that wouldn't let her sleep. Her doctor asked a simple question. How much caffeine do you have after noon? Evelyn was shocked. It's just tea. I don't feel wired. But it wasn't about feeling wired. It was about caffeine blocking her natural melatonin release, long after she thought it was gone. So she made one small change. She swapped her afternoon tea for warm lemon water, sometimes ginger. She added a pinch of magnesium before bed. Within days, she was falling asleep faster and staying asleep longer. Because sleep isn't just about what you do at night. It's shaped by what you consume all day long. So ask yourself, could something I drank at 2 p.m. still be keeping me up at 2 a.m.? If the answer is yes, don't panic. Just adjust and give your body the silence it needs to rest. We spend so much time talking about sleep routines. But what about your wake-up routine? Because the truth is, the way you start your morning may be quietly ruining your night. See, your brain doesn't just decide when to sleep on its own. It relies on signals. And the strongest one is natural morning light. When sunlight hits your eyes, especially within the first hour of waking, it tells your body, day has begun. That signal starts a countdown, a 14 to 16-hour clock that prepares your body to release melatonin later at just the right time. But if you wake up and stay inside, scrolling your phone or sitting in dim light, your brain doesn't get the message. It thinks the day hasn't started yet, and that delay pushes your entire rhythm off. That's exactly what happened to Don, 73. After retiring, his mornings became slow. No alarms, coffee, TV, crossword, all indoors. At night, he felt exhausted, but he couldn't sleep. His doctor didn't give him pills. She gave him a porch. Every morning, Don sat outside for just 15 minutes. Within a week, he noticed a shift. His energy arrived earlier. His sleep felt deeper. He stopped waking up groggy. Why? Because light isn't just brightness, it's a hormonal reset. So tomorrow morning, before the coffee, before the headlines, step outside. Even 10 minutes can make a difference. Your body isn't confused, it's just waiting for the signal. Let's talk about a habit that feels like it's helping, but might be quietly stealing your sleep. Reaching for melatonin or sleep meds, night after night, just to get through the night. If you've ever thought, I just need something to knock me out, you're not alone. Millions of older adults use sleep aids. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Melatonin is not a sleeping pill. It's a time signal, a gentle nudge to your body that says, it's time to start winding down. Taking it like a sedative, that's like using a flashlight to fix your watch. You're not broken, you're out of sync. According to a 2022 review from the National Center for Biotechnology Information, high doses of melatonin, especially above 1 millinocular, can reduce your brain's sensitivity to melatonin itself, meaning the more you take, the less your body responds. And that's not all. Sleep medications like Zolpidem, Ambien, or benzodiazepines might knock you out fast. But studies from Harvard show they often suppress deep sleep stages, the ones your brain needs to repair memory and protect against dementia, not to mention the risks, falls, confusion, next-day grogginess. That's what happened to Helen, 70. She started with 1 milligram of melatonin, then 3, then 5. Eventually, it stopped working. She couldn't sleep without it and didn't sleep well with it. Her doctor helped her taper slowly. They added morning light, magnesium, and a fixed wake-up time. Within weeks, her natural rhythm returned. No pills, no panic, just rhythm. So ask yourself, is this pill helping me sleep or just masking a rhythm my body forgot? Because real sleep isn't forced, it's invited, with the right cues in the right order, at the right time. You snore. You wake up with a dry mouth. Sometimes your partner nudges you in the night and says, you stop breathing for a second. You laugh it off. I'm just getting older, you say. But what if it's not just age? What if your body is sounding an alarm and you've been pressing snooze? Sleep apnea affects 30 to 50% of adults over 65, according to the National Institute on Aging. Yet most go undiagnosed. And this isn't just about snoring. Sleep apnea means your breathing stops and starts throughout the night, sometimes hundreds of times. Each time your brain jolts awake, just enough to keep you alive, but never enough to let you rest. Your oxygen drops, your heart works harder, your brain never reaches the deep, healing stages of sleep. Carlos, 66, lived this for years. He thought his constant fatigue was just aging, but his wife noticed the signs. Loud snoring, gasping, long silences in the night. He finally agreed to a sleep test. Done at home, no hospital needed. The diagnosis? Moderate obstructive sleep apnea. The solution? A quiet CPAP machine that gently kept his airway open. Within 1 week, his mornings felt new. His memory returned. His blood pressure dropped. He finally felt awake. So if you or someone you love snores loudly, chokes at night, or wakes up exhausted, don't ignore it. Sleep apnea doesn't just ruin sleep. It damages the heart, brain, and future. And the fix? It might be simpler than you think. If you've made it this far, take a breath with me, because it means one powerful thing. You still believe better sleep is possible, not just more sleep, not just longer sleep, but the kind that leaves you clear, strong, and truly alive the next morning. Let's look back for a moment. You've learned that waking up at night doesn't mean you're broken. that your body isn't failing, it's evolving. That caffeine, light, and even bedtime can all be powerful signals or silent saboteurs. You've seen how sleep isn't lost with age. It just asks to be heard in a different way. And now you get to choose. Not a giant overhaul, not a strict routine, just one small shift tonight, then another tomorrow, and another next week. Because you are not too late. You are not behind. You're exactly where you need to be, ready. So now I want to ask you, which of these mistakes are you changing tonight? Comment below. Your story might give someone else the courage to start. And if you know someone, a partner, a parent, a friend, who keeps waking up tired, share this with them. It might be the message they didn't know they needed. And above all, sleep well tonight.